Hey guys, so I'm out doing errands and my kids are home, my wife is home. I'm not doing a video in-house today. I'm outside actually in one of a mile up from where I live. It's a beautiful town called Hastings in Hudson's. And a beautiful town. It's mainly about 99% white. And I was just walking through the town. We always come here, mail. Our post office is here and our dry cleaning service is here. So I was walking. It's a nice day. I figured I'd walk from the post office to the dry cleaners. About not even like 500 feet. And I noticed there's a photo mural up. There's the town hall, and across the street from the town hall is like one of those historical buildings that's used for, meetings and stuff like that. But there's a mural up. I've never noticed it before. I don't know if it's a new thing. I can't say. I haven't really been out the house much in a year. Of the Black Lives Matter rally last summer in this town. This town is not even that populated. It's less than maybe 1,000 families in this town. It's not a big town. It's not a big a populated place. It's all suburban houses and stuff like that. There's no buildings or anything like that. So I was surprised to see this. And I'll put a picture up somewhere in here of this rally of white people holding up these signs, support Black Lives Matter movement, defund the police is one of the signs in the photos I've seen. And there's multiple pictures. I only took a photo of one to show my wife because she's not going to believe it on my way back home. And I remember last year, when I first started doing these videos right after George Floyd, one of the things I noticed, and I mentioned that across the planet, Black Lives rallies it was a worldwide movement. It went from Ferguson, Missouri to a national movement to, in the space of a couple of years, to now a global movement. And a lot of the pundits I don't want to say Fox News, I'll go to Fox News, some sort of counter location for where I argue from. But a lot of people on that side that was arguing against Black Lives Matter movements last summer, they kept saying, Candace Owens, I remember she did this thing right after, and she got lambasted for it, where she put George Floyd down as a criminal, a crook who should not represent black people. She felt bad for George Floyd in her video, and my video was actually my first video on this channel, was countering her video. She, explaining that she didn't understand the not the severity, but she didn't understand the profoundness of a George Floyd happening, and everyone sees it for the first time in probably history. We all see what white, I don't want to say white supremacy. I don't really know an officer, if he's racist or not, I don't know. That's left to be seen by the courts. But we saw the injustice that black people face every day, not once a week, not once a year, but every day in America. We see that. And Black Lives Matter became global because it wasn't once a day in America. It was once a day, or once every minute, or once every second around the planet. And when I see stuff like I just saw a couple minutes ago, I remember talking to a friend of mine who went to all the Black Lives Matter rallies last summer in New York City, in Brooklyn. And she was like, I was like, what are you doing? Like, you're young. And she's a younger person. I'm old. I would have attended those rallies, but I have young kids at home, and at that point we were worried about COVID, so I didn't attend any rally. Me and my wife, we donated money. We donated lots of money, not lots of money, but we donated money to the Black Lives Matter movement, as well as Joe Biden's presidential campaign, as one of our way of protesting. We donated money from where we are. And she was telling me, I was like, what are you doing? Like, just stay home. People are out there protesting. And I basically was telling her, because she's white, she's Caucasian. And I was like, basically telling her, and I love her. I love this person, and I care about her and her elderly mom. And I was worried that she'd bring something back to her mom from protesting. And she's like, you know what? I know I may not be black. And this is what she told me. I may not be black. I may not be, it may not affect me when the cops pull me over. I don't have a fear of police like, someone like George Floyd would have. I may not experience the thing black men experience in America. But she said, Olaf, it's not about me. It's about accountability, and it's about how we want to look to the rest of the planet. It's about when you look in the mirror, right? Every day you wake up, whether you're Republican, Democrat, racist, non-racist, you look at yourself in the mirror. You have to say, I'm going out my house. I'm going out my comfort zone. I'm going to interact with other people. How do I want myself to appear to the world? And the point she made was like, we want to appear as, white people in America, as white Americans who are protesting for Black Lives Matter. It's about how we look. It's about accountability. It's about being better for ourselves. That's all it was for them. For that girl, my friend, that was in a group of people, and I mean, she's like 100 pounds wet. She's very, a small frame woman. And I was worried about her. I was like, yeah, you're in this crowd, and I've seen the stuff that was going on with the police and what they're doing to these protesters. And I was worried about her. And she goes, you know what? Kind of like, I want to be there because I want to wake up tomorrow or 2021 or 2022 and not have to look at myself in the mirror and say, and worry that racism still exists. And people like me who are white, female, have a privilege that people like me don't have. And we're both American citizens. We both world citizens. We're both human beings. We both deserve the same respect. And for her, she's more passionate about it than maybe I was, I think, at the time. Because for her, it meant a lot more going forward. And it's her future. It's her country. It's where she lives, and the people like Candace Owens and the people on Fox News that put BLM down, even to this day, that Republican Johnson in Utah, or Idaho, or wherever, Illinois, who blames Black Lives. He said if the Black Lives Matter people had protested the Capitol, insurrected on the Capitol on January 6th, he'd have been more worried. He'd have been more worried and more scared of Black Lives Matter protesting and rioting on the Capitol than he would have a group of armed white supremacists, right? And like, that totally misses the point of what Black Lives Matter was. Black Lives Matter wasn't marching. Those people weren't marching for themselves, right? You could even look at the group and say like maybe more than 50% of the people marching around the planet weren't even black, weren't Black Americans, weren't people that fear the police in a way, right? So it was good to see that, and it's good to know that I don't feel privileged by it. I just feel like I'm glad that people are not myopic, right? And if you want to hear from a black man what black people think when we see that, we're glad that we don't live in a myopic society where white is white and black is black, where people could see the future and say, you know what, I have young kids, I want my kids growing up in a better place than I'm growing up in. And that's the only thing, the core of Black Lives Matter, right? If you break it down, take away all the drama, all the excess, and look at the core of that movement, the BLM movement, it's about making the planet better for our kids. That's all, and the base and the core of it, that's what it's about, right? We don't want the Confederate flag, right? We don't want Pepe Le Pew. We don't want old crap from our grandparents' era, from our era going into our kids' era, right? We want better for our kids. That's all it's about. And it's good to see that, right? It's good to see something like that. It makes me hopeful going forward that people that don't look like me or experience what I experience understand. And that's all it's about, understanding.